Should you do Kegels or pelvic floor contractions to prepare for delivery during pregnancy? Well, I think that's a bad question to ask because it kind of pigeonholes us into a yes or no, where the answer might actually be yes, no for preparing for delivery, but yes during pregnancy some of the time. So let me go into it and let's unpack this a little bit. And sometimes the part of learning that can be the hardest part is actually coming up with the right questions to ask. So then you get the right answers. So I want to ask, should somebody do Kegels or pelvic floor contractions during pregnancy? Not the prepare for delivery part, but just during pregnancy. And then what is the best way to prepare the pelvic floor for delivery? So I think if we bring this in as two separate questions, we're going to get a lot better answer than if we just ask, should I do pelvic floor contractions for delivery? Well, no. And the reason why is because when it comes to delivery, you want to be able to relax the pelvic floor muscles. Okay, now let's make it a little bit more complicated. So sometimes the feedback of contracting the pelvic floor sends people down this spiral of pelvic floor tightness. They can do a Kegel, they contract their pelvic floor, they don't relax well, and they become tighter and tighter and tighter. And that's the fear, right, with doing pelvic floor contractions. But on the other hand, a lot of people are able to do a contraction, get more of a connection with their pelvic floor, be able to feel what their pelvic floor muscles are doing, gain better control and awareness over the pelvic floor muscles, and then subsequently be able to relax the pelvic floor muscles. Because if you do a great pelvic floor contraction, that involves the full contraction part as well as the relaxing, lengthening part. And that relaxing, lengthening part is what a person needs for the delivery piece, for the pelvic floor. So sometimes doing pelvic floor contractions can actually help with relaxation of the pelvic floor. It's just going to need to be in the right phase of pelvic floor rehab to be able to help that person not get overly tight. Now, the other aspect of it is, do pelvic floor contractions, Kegels, have any benefit during pregnancy? And that is the fun part where we can turn to research. So there is research showing that doing pelvic floor contractions, doing Kegels during pregnancy, helps with improving urinary incontinence after, in the postpartum period. So there is benefit to doing pelvic floor contractions. And if somebody has pelvic floor tension, I want to address why they are having pelvic floor tension. I want to be able to overcome that pelvic floor tension, and I want to be able to move on so that they are able to contract their pelvic floor muscles and relax their pelvic floor muscles and have control over their pelvic floor muscles. So it's not a, oh, never contract them because we can't sort through this issue enough to get you where you need to go to be able to contract a muscle and let it go. That seems like we're shortchanging people. I think that anybody, if they want to, with enough work, should be able to get to that point. Now, how many they're going to be able to do, how much relaxation they're going to have to do along with it, that's all going to vary with person to person. But I'd like to set that bar high, and I'd like to get people all the way to completely the end. So those would be the questions that I am asking. Should we be doing them during pregnancy? Is there any benefit? And according to the research, there is benefit. And then does it help with delivery? In some ways, it might, because of that awareness component. But if people are not developing that awareness component, if they are not doing the relaxing, then no, it does not help for delivery. So hopefully that helps answer that question and breaks it down into something that makes a little bit more sense and gives us a better answer in the long run.